Welcome to Happy News Network, the Minisode.
We are here to brighten your week while you take a break from doom scrolling.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Shayna. So, Kristen, we've got a special guest today.
In episode 5, we discussed upcoming license plates raising awareness for Down syndrome in Nebraska.
The organization behind those plates was the Omaha chapter of D.A.D.S, D.A.D.S, Dads Appreciating Down Syndrome.
And today we have the president of the Omaha chapter of D.A.D.S. Please welcome Mark Kuecker.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Hi there.
Welcome.
Thanks
We're
for
so
taking the
happy to have
time.
you.
Can you just start off by telling us a little bit about D.A.D.S, both in Omaha and nationally?
Sure. D.A.D.S was founded in Omaha in 2008, and it follows the model of D.A.D.S that was D.A.D.S National in Indianapolis, Indiana. And our mission is to assist and support through fellowship and action the fathers and families of individuals with Down syndrome. D.A.D.S started at the national level in the spring of 2002 with a small group of dads that met and said, we can do more than just set up tables and cook hot dogs at local fundraisers for Down syndrome. As fathers, we can make a significant contribution to the improvement of our lives, of our children, and the lives of really all individuals with Down syndrome in our communities and with our local Down syndrome groups. And so it's kind of how D.A.D.S got founded there, and it's the principle that we have as dads throughout the country. Cool tidbit, there's 65 chapters in 25 states, and I just learned this last week that we actually have an international presence in Canada, Australia, and the UK. So they've got some other English area countries, so it's kind of cool. I didn't realize it was that big until I was like just chatting with dads, and so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's
That is
amazing.
so neat. Congratulations on all the expansion that D.A.D.S has been able to do, and to everyone who helps make it happen.
Yeah, I'm just excited that there's fathers that will step up, because I joke about this, but it's really true. Most fathers, most men, let's just be honest, most men are not going to go to a support group unless it's court ordered, right? So this is just a unique group. So
yeah, that sort of touches a little bit onto what our next question is, which is, how did you get involved with D.A.D.S?
Well, it wasn't court ordered. Actually, my story is kind of interesting. I moved up from Kansas about 10 and a half years ago to Omaha, and that was just a couple years after they founded D.A.D.S and had it started. And I was at a fast food restaurant. I was holding my little daughter, and we're waiting in line, and I turn around and look back, and there's this guy holding a girl that looks a little bit like my daughter. And, you just have this, hey, she's special too. And so I just had a conversation of what's her name, my daughter's name, and this guy's name was Mike, and he was one of the co-founders of our D.A.D.S in Omaha. And he just said, hey, would love to have you, come stop by, check it out. We meet the last Thursday of the month. No agenda. It's, beer and wings, sit down, have a conversation, meet some dads. And I thought, I could get behind that. So that's kind of how I ended up at D.A.D.S.
It sounds like a
That's
really
great.
nice and informal way of really generating a social environment.
Yeah, it's been really good because we want people to be comfortable. Just come as you are, come when you can. If a dad can come, one time a year, just because it works with the schedule, that's fine. If he can come, once a month, that's great too. You're never behind. There's not an agenda. There's no curriculum. So it's just great. Yeah.
That's great. What are some helpful takeaways you've learned from other members of D.A.D.S, and maybe what are some key pieces of advice you've offered over the years?
That's a really good question. One of the things I think that I've learned, and my daughter's 16, and so I'm at a different walk than new dads that have an infant. But one thing I've learned from dads is I'm not alone, or, there's others that are walking the same walk. I've received recommendations when I first moved to Omaha about local activities and things I could get my daughter involved in. And it's been great to visit with a dad recently I guess recently, it's been maybe 2 years ago now. So, but I got some good advice from another dad that's at the same place that I am about how to raise and help a daughter with Down syndrome that's going through puberty. And so that's a whole different type of experience rather than a typical teenage daughter. With regard to helping others, my daughter had open heart surgery when she was 4 months old. And I was able to share my experience with some other dads. By the way, 50% of individuals with Down syndrome are born with the same congenital heart defect. And so when you're looking at 50% of individuals that are going to go through potentially a heart surgery, it's easy to give someone support and guidance, saying, here's do's and here's don'ts. Maybe,
Yeah.
Really tangible advice.
Yeah, be supportive
Yeah.
of your wife or significant other, because they're gonna be going through some challenges too. How to be a good dad. Another thing I guess that I share often with people all the time is, I tell people, never put a top rung on your child's ladder. Believe in their potential, encourage it, and support it. And often it will be a parent that might limit them more. And so just be cognizant of that. Don't put a top rung on your daughter's ladder or son's ladder.
Yeah. I also sort of wish there was a general support group for all forms of dads with children going through puberty. I think that would be such a helpful thing. And I think it's really beautiful, and parents across any form of spectrum can learn about not capping their children's wishes and potential in life. I think that's really beautiful, very, very universal advice.
Yeah, and even at whatever age, I've got 3 adult sons, and you can sometimes cap their their ability too, based on that I remember them when they were 13, not 27 or whatever. And no, they're 27, they're capable. So get behind it, encourage it, support it.
Right.
Yeah. So D.A.D.S is a really unique organization. They provide fathers the opportunity to connect with other dads in like situations. How can dads join or start a chapter if there isn't one near them?
That's a good question. So one of the things is, most major cities have some type of Down syndrome organization. Whether, like in Omaha, for example, we have Down Syndrome Alliance of the Midlands. And there's pockets throughout the country of different support groups. Kansas City has one, Down Syndrome Guild. And so I think first thing is to check with them and see if they have a dad's program. A lot of them have moms programs or grands or grandparents. D.A.D.S is usually embedded in one of those organizations. And again, like I mentioned, they're in 26 states. So check there first. You can also go to just dadsnational.org, and that's the national website. Or if you come to dadsomaha.org, we're happy to point you in the right direction as well.
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent. Let's talk about what Shayna talked about in episode 5, this awesome specialty license plate bill. What are some of the steps along the way to make that happen, and what types of resources will proceeds help fund?
Yeah, that's an awesome story. So a little over 2 years ago, one of our members came to a D.A.D.S meeting, and he walked in and he said, "Why isn't there a Down syndrome awareness license plate?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I was driving behind a breast cancer awareness. I saw a wildcat one for, bobcats or whatever it is." He said, "There's a Henry Dorley Zoo, Omaha Zoo one. Come on, why isn't there this?" So our D.A.D.S group, men get stubborn. We dug our heels and said, "Let's go do it. Let's figure it out." So at the Department of Motor Vehicles in Nebraska, you can actually go through a process of getting approved. And so we got 3 designs for websites that we had a graphic artist help produce. And we went to the state and we applied for them and got approved. And then the next step is to get 250 paid applications collected and sent in at one time. Well, we started that process, and at about 6 months in, we were only at about 100 of 250, because it's really hard to get people to part with $70. At that time, it was $70, paid up front, not knowing when they're ever going to get their license plate or if. So we collected these, we got to a stalling out, and we just said, look, let's look at a plan B. So plan B was last year in the summer of 2019, we invited a local state senator to our D.A.D.S meeting in the summer. We have an outdoor barbecue time with D.A.D.S, and we invited the state senator, Rick Kowalski, to join our D.A.D.S group. And he just basically learned more about D.A.D.S. We shared that we have this license plate desire, and he said, "You know what? Well, let me put a bill together." And so in January of 2020, he put a bill forth in the Senate, or in the unicameral in Nebraska. And we had COVID that hit. So it got introduced. We had in February actually a committee meeting where we testified before the legislature. It was a committee of transportation group. And the testimony went awesome. It got rolled into another bill, and then COVID hit, and it was like, are they ever going to vote on this? What happens if it doesn't pass this year? Do we have to start all over? So we got kind of just all wigged out. But in August, the governor signed the bill, and in this roll-up, this whole process, they actually ended up writing into the bill that it would include proceeds going to the Monroe Meyer Institute for Down Syndrome Clinic, and that's just a part of UNMC, or University of Nebraska Med Center. And the clinic provides counseling, resources, health maintenance information for families of children 1 year and under that are diagnosed with Down syndrome. And that's really a critical time, because when you have a child with Down syndrome, when you have that daughter that's born like we did, it's like, okay, first of all, what did we do wrong? And nothing, because it's not genetic. What do we do next? Well, there's, this Down syndrome clinic will help point people the right direction, provide some resources. So the proceeds from the Down syndrome awareness license plates are really going to go to help continue fund the Down syndrome clinic, and maybe provide additional support for individuals with Down syndrome above 1 year of age.
That's beautiful.
That's so awesome.
And it sounds like those really developmental key periods of 6 months to 1 year can be really tough, and those are specific target ranges where they need the support. So
yeah, I think one other key thing that I forgot to mention too, on the license plate, it has Down syndrome ne.org, and that's like Down syndrome ne for Nebraska.org is the website, and that has resources for new parents, for educators, for medical professionals. It also has resource links that could be helpful for potential employers of individuals with Down syndrome. So it's not just a website or Down syndrome awareness resource for, new parents or someone knows someone. It's really key across the board, because people will be interacting with individuals with Down syndrome in varying areas in life.
Yeah.
It's awareness for everybody, not just the people directly impacted on a day-to-day basis, but
absolutely,
we all could be. We don't know. So
right.
Yeah. October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And what do you hope people become more aware of throughout the month as we speak about people across the spectrum of life?
I would like people to recognize that individuals with Down syndrome have ability. They are differently abled, not disabled. Although some are limited maybe in their ability or their speech, others hold jobs, drive, are actors, or maybe even go to college. They have dreams, they can set goals. And if I'm being really honest, many individuals with Down syndrome will probably reach closer to their full potential than I will to mine. And I hope that during Down Syndrome Awareness Month, people celebrate and they take the time to learn a little bit more about trisomy 21, which is the name of that, not just Down syndrome.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really beautiful takeaways. There are some beautiful takeaways in there for all of us.
Well, I appreciate it too, and I think it's really neat the program that you have, the happy news that you're sharing, and I plan to continue to share with people, because it's a unique podcast that's just worthy of listening to some good news.
Thank you so much. It's been really lovely to do that research and to find the news articles we didn't know we needed to read, and then to be able to connect to the people in the articles. And there's something beautiful about putting a face to a name, and especially in an era where we're more confined to our homes and away from the people we normally see, to even be able to connect to new people and to do it this way has been really rewarding.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mark Kuecker of D.A.D.S Omaha, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And from all of us here at Happy News Network, I'm Shayna.
And I'm Kristen. Have a happy day.
Have a happy day.